Welcome to ProSportsBlogging.com and LiamsCI.com, our second edition of the playoff preview, this time, obviously, for the second round. Shean Donovan back with me again. Donald, great to see you, buddy.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for joining us here again. And we have a couple of props here today as we attempt to entice Molsons to possibly come on board with us down the road. At the very least, these full pints, Shean and I will play magicians and make them disappear at the conclusion of the show. At this point right now, though, with the first round concluded, Shean and I are here to take a few minutes and talk about the second round and tee up the four matches that are going to take place. Shean, let's get right into it. First, just right before we do,
Yep.
I mean, you've been following this game as long or before you even started to put your 1,000 games into the National Hockey League. Have you ever seen a first round with this much drama, excitement, controversy, and unbelievable play?
What a start to the playoffs. This is awesome. I mean, you got all the Game 7s you had. You had the intriguing matchups that lived up to the build-up. You got Chicago, Vancouver, and the way it ended, Boston, Montreal. So it's going to be tough for the second round to live up to what the first round brought us.
It's like the last couple of years, almost really since Crosby-Ovechkin, if you will, and that's the lockout. I mean, they refer to the 95 to 2005 as the dead puck era, and you can speak to that. You had to grind your way through it, and you did for a large part very successfully. But it really was a dead puck era, and now you've got some of this hockey, and we've just come through an unbelievable time in the first round. 2 series going into overtime in Game 7. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, and I know that they've done a lot of good things to try to make the game better, faster, and with the no hooking and holding, I mean, the hockey now is unbelievable. There's so much parity in the league now. The cap world is here, and you don't know who's going to win from series to series, and that's why you've seen so much parity, and it's fun. I mean, it's awesome.
Let's get it on right now and get into it. Vancouver, Nashville. Canucks coming off the big win, slay the Giant to steal the radio line there, knocking off Chicago. Nashville, maybe a bit of a surprise in beating Anaheim. They were 2-2 in the season series. How do you see this one playing out?
I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how Vancouver comes off those 7 games, and obviously you got the controversy from who's going to play net, but they put a little doubt in Luongo's head. I mean, as an organization, that's tough to do. You don't go with your big boy, your Vezina Trophy nominee, and now they're going to the second round. What happens if they lose 2 games? Are they going to go back to Schneider? So I think that doubt's going to be interesting to see how it plays out here in this series. But for me, I really like the way Nashville's playing. I think they're a solid team, and if Pekka Rinne, he's played all right, and he's a great goalie. He's unbelievable. I think Tom's going to win the Vezina, but he might come second in the Vezina voting this year. If he plays unbelievable, stands on his head, I mean, they're going to have a chance to win this series. And for me, I'm picking Nashville in 7.
Nashville in 7. Okay, you did call Boston in 4, so let's gauge that accordingly. But that's an interesting pick. 2 thoughts on that quickly before we move to San Jose, Detroit. First of all, the play of the Sedins, virtually invisible, and the play of Mike Fisher, virtually the opposite so far for Nashville. Your thoughts first on the Sedins and then Fish.
Oh, the Sedins, yeah, obviously. I mean, you need your best players to be your best players to win in the playoffs, and so far they haven't had that. They got through because they do have depth, and Burrows, kind of the unheralded guy on that line, and he ended up playing unbelievable, scoring the 2 big goals. St. Burrows.
Game 7 story, no matter how you sliced it.
Yeah.
Penalty shot, drawing penalties or causing penalties. Penalty shot and scoring the winner.
And he's the engine that's driving that line right now. But you have to have the scene show up through, 3 more rounds. If you're going to make the Cup finals, you have to have those guys going. They have to be your best players. And so far, they haven't done it yet in the playoffs. So, and as far as Fishy goes, I mean, what a playoffs he's having. It's unbelievable. He's putting up numbers. He's playing hard. He's back the way we've seen Fishy here when he went to the Cup run here with Ottawa. And that's why he's been, paid so well the last few years. Is he's a good player, but he's a playoff performer. And that's why Nashville got him. And you look at guys like Tutu. They're getting some big time kind of playoff hockey from some good Canadian boys.
Absolutely. I'm loving that too myself, let me tell you. San Jose, Detroit, Dono, let's go there right now. The Sharks win 3 out of 4 this season and beat Detroit last year in 5 games. A lot of people thinking Detroit are especially with their 4-game sweep over Phoenix, are sitting in a good place, getting Zetterberg back. How do you see it?
Well, I mean, you look at the way Detroit played in the first round, and sometimes with a younger team, you want them to play longer series because there's too much time in between series if you sweep somebody. But the Detroit Red Wings, these are hardened vets, and they need their time off, and they're getting Zetterberg back. I mean, I like the way Detroit's looking right now. And San Jose, I mean, they played good, but I wasn't really – I thought, LA had a lot of injuries to some of their top guys, and they came out of that series. I mean, they ended up winning, but I thought they would have dominated LA a little bit more. I was kind of – I don't know. For me, I think –
especially without Kopitar.
Without Kopitar.
And Brown playing with a harness, I think.
Harness, yeah, and Williams coming back from –
Williams with a harness, I believe, with the shoulder.
And he played good, and they gave him a good run. In the end, the series was really close, and I think San Jose's going to have to play a lot better than they did in the first round if they're going to expect to upset Detroit, because I think Detroit's making a run. run. It's like their last ditch effort here to win one for the boys, the older guys
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
the Lidstroms, and so it'll be Holmstrom. So I think Detroit's they look good right now. So for me, I'll pick Detroit in 6.
A secondary question for you on the Sharks, and I want to get your personal opinion on this based on your time playing against them. Joe Thornton scored the big goal.
Yeah.
Last couple seasons, actually. Last year, him and Marlowe were I thought, were outstanding in the playoffs. Joe Thornton, comment from you playing against him and what you thought so far of him in the playoffs.
I mean, he's been good this playoffs, and he's the type of guy that sometimes you don't notice him. He's a big body, you notice him because he's a big body, but he makes all those little plays and uses his size to his advantage. And obviously in the first round, scoring that big goal would be something. It'd be some confidence for him in Game 6. But going forward, I think they need the big boys to be their big boys. You need Heater to play better than he did in that round. To get by
Great
Detroit,
shot on the second goal, but you need more than 2 goals out of 6 games for him.
Yeah, you can't go in this series the second round against Detroit Red Wings and get 2 goals, the first goal and near the end the last goal, and in between there was didn't see a lot of Heater. And so I think if they're gonna make a run here and beat Detroit, they need those guys. They can't rely on Luke Couture, who had an unbelievable series and close. They need their top guys to to step up.
We've got almost your former team scattered throughout the lineup here. Let's go to another one right now. Boston, who exercise a bit of a demon in a sense. I mean, they beat Montreal 4 straight the last time they played in 2010, but this time took 7 games, took overtime. Not the greatest hockey in terms of quality, but excitement was there for sure. And now they've got a chance to go up against a team that they have the epic fail on their foreheads from last year against the Flyers. How do you see this one playing out?
I mean, in that series, you're going to see 2 good teams, 2 teams that have good seasons. And you look at, obviously, Philly has the edge from the three games, but that doesn't matter in the playoffs right now. Now it's going to be interesting. I mean, you got the 2 big D scenario here. Is Pronger going to play? Is he going to be healthy? Is he going to play like a 4 or 5 minutes he played against Buffalo? Or is he going to end up playing his big minutes, his 25? Is he going to be rested? So I think a lot depends on how Pronger is in these playoffs. And obviously, Big Z on the other side of it, hopefully he gets some confidence. I think that was the first time that he'd won a Game 7. So he kind of slayed that dragon, so to speak. So jumping in here, I think he's going to get a little confidence. The team's going to have a little confidence, and Timmy Thomas has played great. That whole series, Carey Price and Tim Thomas, I mean, that's the reason it was such an exciting series. Both those guys brought their A game, and, Tim's going to be good. With Philly, who's going to be in net? We don't even know.
No. No, well, it's a rotating. I mean, first time a team with 3 goalies has won a series since '88. That 3 goalies have started. I mean, it's a bizarre situation. No matter who started was getting pulled, and then somebody would come in and mop up and typically get the win.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they have such a good team. They can score. Obviously, I think they had the highest offense in the league this year, or maybe the second next to Vancouver. But they're a team that can score. Briere had an unbelievable series. Maybe Conn Smythe, nominee. So far in the first round here, and for them, obviously they're going to have to keep scoring, and depends on how Carter is. Coming back, they're going to need him. I don't know how far along he is.
I don't think he's going to make it.
He's not.
It doesn't sound good at this stage right now. Anyway, as we're taping this, it does not sound good for Jeff Carter. But I mean, to get Pronger back, I think is unbelievable. Given you look at the fact he played when he did come back, he played about 4.5 minutes, almost exclusively on the power play. He played double or triple that in the deciding game, and was much more of an influence on the ice, let alone just quarterbacking that power play. It was such a difference with him on the ice. I know he took that 1 penalty against Tyler Myers, but you know what? Sometimes you got to do that on the ice to set a bit of a tone. Guess what, guys? The big man's back. You got a big guy, but he's going down. Yeah,
it'll be a battle of the big boys. I mean, you're going to get Big Z against Pronger, and that's it's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see.
I don't like Pronger's chances in a scrap there. But,
no. But just enforcing your will, and Pronger has a way of doing it on the borderline of the rules. And sometimes Big Z is such a big guy that refs call him pretty quick, and then you see Big Z, he knows that they're calling, they're looking at him. He's the big guy on the ice, the big bully, so to speak, and so he kind of sometimes gets into a shell a little bit, and that's why I was kind of excited to see in that playoffs, the first round against Montreal, is that he didn't shy away. He was aggressive and he played hard, and so if he has to do this against Philly, because they like to be the bullies.
That's why this actually series sets up well for Boston in that sense. They played all that crap early against Montreal, and it cost them. It cost them in those 2 games. They came back and won 4 out of 5 by almost staying away from it as much as they possibly could. When you've got a half dozen guys who would rather fight than switch, as the old line went, which the Bruins really are, they're going to find some willing participants in Philadelphia in that vein. And this series could be fireworks, especially after what happened last year. But it sets up well for the fans.
Yep. Oh no, for sure it does. And like you say, at the end of a game, if there's a blowout in this game, I don't think the boys are gonna be too scared to drop the gloves here. So it'll be interesting. So the odd game where it might be a blowout, that's maybe when you should tune in, because there'll be some good fights.
If we have time, we'll come back and revisit some salient points on all of this. But we got to finish up here with Washington and Tampa Bay. Obviously, with Alexander Ovechkin, kind of the sexy pick here with the Caps and their big mega superstar who did, had his worst season ever in the regular season. They pick up Jason Arnott at the trade deadline. Seems to have made a huge impact. They dominated the regular season, but Tampa Bay's resuscitated this 41-year-old Dwayne Rolison who's playing out of his mind. How do you see this one playing out?
Once again, in this series, there's so many storylines. I mean, you talk Rolly the goalie, unbelievable what he did for them. Through those games when they're dead in the water, Rolly stood on his head. Even the game that he lost, he let in the bad goal from the short side. He played unbelievable. He gave the only chance they had of winning was St. Louis playing so good, scoring a couple nice goals, and him playing goals. So I don't think you can depend on St. Louis this whole series the way they did last time. And obviously Bergenheim set up by Moore, got the game winner. But that third line's been playing good. But I think you're going to need more from Stamkos if they're going to get by Washington. And as far as Washington, I mean, they're flying on all cylinders. They're playing more of a playoff style. They're not playing run and gun here now. So it looks like a team who could do some damage here in the playoffs. But for me, I think Caps had their way with them in the regular season. But still, I know that doesn't matter. But I just think, for me, I think the Caps in 5.
Caps in 5. Okay, let's revisit this while we're doing this. We didn't do this last time. Let's revisit this. So you're calling the Caps in 5.
Yeah.
Philly, Boston.
Philly, Boston. I hope Boston in 7. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Boston in 7. San Jose, Detroit.
I'm picking Detroit in 5.
Detroit in 5. You're going to smoke the Sharks. And Vancouver, Nashville, you called Nashville in 7.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call Vancouver in 5. I'm going to call Detroit in 6. I'm going to call Philadelphia in 5. And I'm going to call, you called Washington, right? Over Tampa Bay in 5.
Yes.
I'm going to I can't agree with you, so I'm going to go Washington in 6. We're agreeing on our beer today, but we're not agreeing on our picks. So we're almost similar, and I think we're just about out of time for the segment. We want to get we got 2 minutes, Sean. And one more comment from you, if you can. Give us some insight going into overtime, any of the times you would have had experience in this. What is going on in the dressing room? Who steps up? Is it the coach, assistant coach, captain, team leader? What can you tell us from your own experience what may have happened?
The only time I've been in overtime in Game 7, we were in Vancouver, 2004. They scored with maybe 14 seconds left to go in the game. So we were all, obviously down because we thought we won the series. Game 7 in Vancouver, they go and score 14 seconds left, but we were on the power play. So we went in the room. There was hardly even a thing said. Everybody came in the room. Coaches didn't come in. Everybody just kind of looked at each other, knew that this was our series to win. They got the momentum at the last minute, but through most of the series we had the momentum, and everybody just kept quiet. We went out and scored within like a minute, and won the series. But there wasn't much said in the room. Nobody grabbed anybody by the throat, and I guess we had a good confidence there, and we just knew that we were going to get it done. Well,
we just got it done for you guys here on our second round playoff preview. ProSportsBlogging.com, LiamsCI.com is where this various video will be found on YouTube, of course, through those sites. Sean, thanks very much. We appreciate it. We will be back to tee up the third round as well in a couple of weeks or less, all depending on how the series go. Like Sean said off the start, if there's anything even remotely close to what we've seen in the first round here, we're in for a treat as hockey fans. It's been that way almost the last 3 or 4 seasons here. Continues, Sean, to get better just since the lockout, seemingly. 7 different teams have won the Cup in the last 7 years. And again, there will be no repeat winner. That's it for this segment. Thanks very much for tuning in. Sean and I will take care of these points, and we'll catch you next show. Thank you.